Hey, good morning, everybody. AJ the CEO here. Was going to try something a little bit different here, but I hope y'all are all doing well. Wanted to do a different shot. See, I was upstairs. See, I was up here watching this from up here, just trying to tie some stuff together here. But hey, folks, AJ the CEO here. We're trying to come here every Friday to answer your media ministry questions as best as we possibly can. And what we do here is we try and reach. See, we were doing that off of the iPhone. Y'all like that? And I forgot to turn off my text and stuff like that. Hopefully y'all can hear me. And I have my headphones here so I can actually hear that y'all are hearing me fine. So hopefully there is no echo. I think we fixed that last time. But anyway, folks, AJ the CEO again, like I said, thank you so much for stopping by. We try and come here every Friday as best as we possibly can to help you answer your media ministry questions. I don't know everything, folks, but hopefully the little bit that I do know will make your journey a lot easier. Excited about being back home, and my headpiece is stuck on my mic here. But thank you so much, folks. Let's see. Let's holler at some folks out here. Parker, hold on. We didn't change over the graphic. There we go. Parker, hello. Jeff Miller, happy Friday to you as well. Josh Landers, hello. Steve from Northeast PA, hello, how you doing? Mike from Canada, how are you doing, sir? Who else we got on here? Anthony, what's going on, sir? Darius from Mobile, Alabama, how you doing? Scott, hello. Fresh Start Church of Philadelphia, good morning to you as well. Creative for Fun, how are you doing? Coach, good morning. Philip Paul, hello. Brian Jones, how you doing, sir? Mr. G. Albert, good morning. Reverend MJF, good morning to you. Mr. Clarence, good morning. May the odds be ever your favor, exactly. Awesome. Sound is good. Audio is good. Everything's good. So yay. So pretty much if y'all wanted to know what I did with that, all that is the HX camera for the iPhone. And I have that routed into, and actually, let me turn this around so I can show you. Flip the camera and we come back over here. So what I got, all I have is my iPhone showing the HX camera. That is actually ran into this computer where I am running, if you can see that, a monitor, studio monitor that is capturing the feed from this. I have a second line coming out of this computer, and I'm getting hung up on my cables here. That second line from this computer, ooh, that's dirty. Hold on, let's clean that. Anyway, that's coming out into my ATEM, into input number 3, and that's how you can see it. So over here, as you can see, the second monitor from my computer is just having the NDI Studio monitor full screen, which is capturing my video. That's how I'm able to go from NDI into a physical connection on the ATEM. So like I said, just pushing the limits, trying to do some new stuff here and just play around with it. And I have my DJ mic wireless, so that way y'all could hear me. That's what I had wearing from upstairs. So I hope that as well. And it looks like a lot of y'all said y'all like the polo and stuff like that. I ended up ordering 3 of them, so I haven't been wearing the same shirt. I have 3 different ones. Wanted to test them out. What I'll probably do is put those up. So a bunch of y'all said y'all liked them. Again, this is not the AJ logo. This is, if you wanted to know, this is beyond the 4 walls. That's what we're doing, breaking past the 4 walls. Let's see. Paula, good morning. Juan, good morning. Richard, good morning to you. Mom's Video, good morning to you as well. So let's get all the formalities out of the way, folks. I am very, very much excited. We are 62 days away from our 3rd annual eMissionary Conference. There's still plenty of time for you to get registered to be online or to be in person. We're going to be here in Richmond, Virginia at Antioch Baptist Church on July 18th and 19th, starting at 8 a.m. If you can only make it one day, it doesn't matter, folks, because no matter which way you get registered, if you're in person and you're only able to come on Saturday because you're working and you can't get days off, you will set up an account so you can watch everything online Friday, and then you can come on down on Saturday and be a part with us in person. Everything online, we'll be recording and streaming everything. Also, we still have plenty of space if anybody is interested in teaching. We've been filling out our teachers here. Some teachers, I still need y'all's pictures on here so I can make a new promo with just not my face on it in stock images. I want to put some of y'all on here. We got Monty, Dominic, Francisco, Rosalind, Elder Rob, Brian Jones, Mike, 2 of the people that are on here right now. Actually, 3 people on here. Phyllis, Creative for Fun. Hugh, Pastor Thompson, Bruce. I haven't seen him on here yet. He's going to be teaching. Fred, Janelle, Pastor Flowers from Antioch, Johnny from, why is the church escaping me? Out in California. I'll get the name there in a second. Andrea, David Bell. He's from Virginia Union here, minister, theology school here, and we got some other stuff. So he's got plenty of space, folks, if you're interested in teaching. But I'll talk about that stuff later. But anyway, get registered for all that fun stuff. Love to see you in the place. And like I said, we got that going on. If you like what we do, folks, and like I said, the merch and all this other stuff will be listed on emissionarygear.com. Give me about 2 days to put that stuff up there. If you're interested in getting that, I may, if we got some extra money left over from buying the food for everything there, I might see if I can get some of these and have a few on hand. So if you're in person, you can get some there. But all of the funds that go to eMissionary Gear, or from my consultations, or from the business, or from our supporters, goes to help support this channel. We are not funded by any other company or anything, not yet, but this is what we do. And if you like what we do, you can purchase some merch and do consultations, all that stuff with me, and that's what goes to do all the fun stuff that we do here. Also, let me shout out your media team, folks. Look, we do a lot of stuff around here, and honestly, let's just call it what it is. The media ministry is one of the most unthanked and underappreciated ministry in the average church, just because this is new. So let me use this platform to shout out your team. Send me an email at questions@ajhomes.com. Make the subject my media team. Send me a picture of your media ministry team, where you're located, your ministry's name. And if you want, you can let the people, put the people's names on there so I can shout them out and give them their kudos and their flowers right now to show that we appreciate everything that they're doing. Thank you for those who are continuing to still buy my books on Amazon. I got a few of them left behind me. If you wanted to get them autographed, you can go to AJaytheCEO.com and get them there. But like I said, really, really excited for putting all the effort into getting this eMissionary conference going. This is the first in person. We've had, unfortunately, with anything else, we got a lot of changes that are happening. Some people have backed out, some people have come on, some people have promised something and haven't followed through, but hey, we still move forward for what we're doing. So Saturday, we're probably gonna do a couple of more open sessions with a bunch of people just to fill in, because we wanna make it worth your while, folks. So that's what we got. And like I said, teachers are still available. We still want some teachers. If you're interested in teaching something, you are more than willing to add you all to information so that we can do that fun stuff. I think we have like a couple of mock sessions that are coming up to get everybody prepared for the conference. I don't know if this is weekend. I remember it or not. But anyway, I think I've done enough blabbing for that. If I didn't, there we go. When we get ready to start asking some questions, folks, please put a Q at the beginning so it makes it easy for me to see your question. If I don't get to your question, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours to respond to you. And if me and you go back and forth about 3 emails, I highly recommend you go ahead and set up a consultation with me. That way we have a dedicated 45 to an hour, 55 minutes, something like that, so we can go over your questions and try and get that stuff sorted out for you as best as possible. If I don't know what it is, we will try and find something to get that question answered for you. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, folks, go to Facebook, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, and you're joining the 3,400 media ministries from all over the world. We canceled our roundtable last week because of Mother's Day, so we will have our roundtable this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All the information is in the Facebook group, and I think that is about it. Go ahead and send some prayers up for my little girl. She actually has strep throat, so she's gonna be with me tomorrow. So we're gonna see if we gotta go into daddy nursing mode and stuff like that. So she's at home right now with her mom. So got a message from her this morning. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, started off with that. And actually, let's hold up and holler at some more folks. Exalted Christ Church International. Hello, hello. I missed what that was saying. But anyway, if you got some questions, folks, like I said, go ahead and fire it away. Start it with the Q, and we'll go from there. And let's see what we got going on. Don't see any questions so far. Y'all gonna make me do some impromptu stuff. I've been meaning to, I was actually getting over some sinus stuff or whatever that was coming back from Louisiana. So I've been meaning to sit down and do the free show tutorial that a bunch of y'all, an in-depth look at free show as an alternate presentation software. We still got to do the video on making animated Bible stories through AI. We're going to do that as well too. And we're going to be updating and making a new countdown intro. It's like y'all still have the same intro. We got to start updating that stuff so we can make it new. So we're going to be going over that as well too. So Juan is the first one that I see with a question. Where do you recommend I go to purchase used video audio equipment for a small church? Well, first I would probably say the Facebook group. I normally don't have people just publicizing a lot of stuff on that page. We ask them to ask the admins first before they post that stuff. But we did have somebody post a brand new ATEM Mini Extreme on there that's still in the box. And we do have some people there in the group. Outside of that, I would say check out Sweetwater. Be careful about it, but you can look at Facebook Marketplace for some of that stuff as well too, or B&H Photo that has open box stuff. That would be my first recommendation. Also, Sweetwater does have a program where they do donations to certain churches, but I think you have to be relatively close to where their main headquarters is, but that's what I would think. Let's see. Also, just a follow-up, because we've had to change some of the food for the conference. Everybody who is registered, I am going to be putting out a form on the website so you can select food, because what I think we're going to be doing is for breakfast, we're going to have some odds and ends. We'll pick up some stuff from Panera Bread so you can get some food there. Also for lunch, we're probably going to do sandwiches and all this other stuff from Jimmy John's, and then catered for dinner. A lot of stuff has changed. So I think catering is going to be just for dinner and not for lunch and dinner because if you understand, if anybody's organized something like this, you'll understand. But I'm gonna put a form on the website and I will forward out an email to y'all for you to pick what you're doing. I want to make sure that y'all get first dibs for the people who have registered early, because I have a feeling some people are going to show up the day of registering, and I want to make sure y'all are straight. And then whatever is left, we're going to be asking for the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, and somebody to pray over that to multiply if people come last minute. But anyway, be on the lookout for that. That was that question. Let's see. Hello. Darius, love the NDI integration. Thank you. Thank you. Back to Exalted Christ Church International. What is the best way to stream whilst recording in ATEM Mini? Well, the ATEM Mini can't stream or record it. So I'm thinking you're meaning the ATEM Mini Pro. Honestly, the best way I've done that is to use because the USB is going to be needed to record. So, if you're streaming, well, hold on, give me some layout on your equipment, because if you have the ATEM Mini can't record or stream. If you have the ATEM Mini Pro, you can stream over Ethernet and record over USB, but then you can still control the ATEM from the buttons or over the network. So, but let me know your full setup before I start blabbing on some other stuff that I might be off. Philip Paul, love to see that you're integrating NDI into your setup. I love this. I am using also NDI to tie into different applications that I'm using for Bible study. Sweet. And also, Exalted Christ Church is watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Awesome. Awesome. So give me some more details on your setup and we will go over that. Steve was saying, what's the best meal that I had while I was in Nolans? Let's see. Now, I hope she doesn't get mad with me. This is one of my traveling partners from Hampton. she was actually out there on a business trip with the government. So normally if we got availability of time, it's like, hey, AJ, you could tag along if you want. So Sonya, sorry, I'll blur this if you didn't want me to do this, but we, I I had her try some crawfish, and she was excited until she was like, "Oh, these things are staring at me." So that wasn't that fun. But honestly, the best thing that I probably had out of that were the oysters, the Creole oysters. Them things was something serious. I did like the gumbo. This restaurant had no flavor on any of this. Was a steakhouse, and not impressed. Not impressed at all. You know, I did love the crawfish sushi. That was good as well. But I would honestly say the Taste of New Orleans, the red beans and rice, the gumbo, and the jambalaya was just that whole combination. And the beignets, of course. I didn't get a chance to take a picture of that, but it was good. Otis, wait, Otis, hold on. You are not down the street from me. What's going on with you, Otis? Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Back to Exalted Christ Church. Also, we have, how can we use a projector and monitor on a PC when there's only one HDMI port? I need the full setup of what you got. So I need to know, is it an A10 Mini, an A10 Mini Pro? Is it going into a computer? I need all that so that way I can get a good assessment in my head here of how you got everything set up, and we can do that. Hello, Dean. I am doing well. Steve is recommending, he said church gear, buys and sells used church equipment. Awesome. Thank you for that. Back to Dean. My friend bought a Famaco PTZ. It didn't have NDI, but it said option in the manual is a firmware update. You can pay for from Famaco. Yeah, that is an option on some of them. Like I just dealt with a church recently, and they bought some very, very, very overpriced PTZ cameras that the box said it was NDI, but the camera inside was the non-NDI version, which stinks. So be very, very, very mindful of that stuff. It's sad that there are companies or people that sell these cameras that try and swindle people. So be mindful of that. It was a $500 markup on each one of those cameras, and it didn't include NDI. And unfortunately, so much time has gone by, they couldn't return it. So that really stinks. They got a AVCAN's joystick that can control over NDI, and they already had the thing mounted and everything, and they were thinking that the joystick could control it over NDI, but after digging through it and looking through the firmware and the model, they weren't NDI supported cameras. So I had to get them to get some adapters to run some extra cables so they can go old school RS-232 to control the camera. So be very mindful of that, folks. D Green. What are some ways that AI can be used to automate and save time in a ministry? That is one video that unfortunately I did not follow through and make. And it's been sitting here. I've just been so busy that I haven't had a chance to go back to it. But for me, I'll tell you, and I'm gonna see if I can get back to it. If my daughter's sick, she may be out of school, so will be at home next week. But one of the things that, I think it was maker.com. I think that's the site. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. But what I was working on is there's a way that you can list all of your YouTube videos, or you can make something that will, anytime a new video is posted to your channel, it will export that stuff to a spreadsheet, or you just copy it inside the spreadsheet, and then Maker will go to the spreadsheet, automatically pull that, summarize it, make a blog post, make multiple social media posts, then can push it over to Notebook LM. It could automate a lot of that stuff. That's what I was working on. So for me, AI, how I normally use AI with my videos now is I have it to write a 1 paragraph in first person description for my YouTube video. Then after that, I have it write a blog post for my blog. Then I also have it do my timestamps. I have it do highlight points and stuff like that. So if I was gonna do an email, but I get tired of all these stupid emails that I get. I mostly unsubscribe from them, so I don't want to inundate people with emails at all. That's why you've never gotten an email from me about anything like that. But that's the first thing I would think. How I use it is to streamline it to where if you're using your live stream first, the other thing it helps you do is you can let me just show you how I do this. So let's go ahead and cut over to the Computron. Let's go look at this dude called AJaytheCEO. And let's go to, I'll use my Unify one because that's the one I actually use. This Unify video that I did here. So what I do, I have Gleam on here, which is a plugin that will take all of my text, this transcription of everything that I said in that video. See, that's all of that right there, right? So the first thing I could do is download this entire here, so it talks through everything that I got, that I said. So the first thing I could do, let's go to this one so you can see. No, that's summarize. I want the full transcription. All right, so here it is. That's the summary. Here's the whole transcription. So it takes that entire thing, and we're gonna copy that. So the first thing I do with, and it's not really AI, but the first thing I'll do is say, I'll take this, and actually I did this in Notepad. This is wrong. I need to do this in Word. For some odd reason, it likes this in Word. So I'll take Word like this and paste it. And sometimes you want to do this with transcriptions, with timestamps. But if you wanted to do it this way, I would take this document. Let's go ahead and save that to me desktop. And I would call it this, my network. And let's do ENG, but English. Then I would take this document and go over here to translates.google. And I look under, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. I'm gonna go here, and let me take you out real quick so I can get to that video. Because sometimes YouTube does, under the terms, they don't like you to show certain stuff. I'm trying to find where I'm looking for. There it goes. So I'm here on the video, and this video is showing that 74.2% of people watch English, but then here are the other languages that people watch. So Hindi. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm going to upload that document I just saved, that I saved to my desktop with the transcriptions. I'll upload this here, and then I want to translate this into Hindi. Translate that. I'm gonna download it. And now I can take this. It's not in the right format, please know. Normally this would be a SRT file, which is a subtitle file. And I would take this and then upload this back into YouTube here. So I would add a new language, and then I would select Hindi. Actually, let me just do it the long way. So I need to go to this video first. So I'm sorry, I am dragging this out because you wanted me to show you exactly how I do it. Because it is the same thing. I just need to actually have the timestamps with this. So let's see. Will it let me download this? No, it won't. These are automated ones. Oh, here it goes. Download. I could have just did it right here. So we're gonna download this, and this is in the actual format, the SRT format. So if I open this file, see it has timestamps on here. All right. So what we're gonna do, let's copy this. We're gonna do the same thing we just did. And instead of this, we're going to paste it here because it has a timestamp for when the text needs to go. So let's save that. Let's go back to our translate. Let's upload that document again because it's now in an SRT format with the timestamps and all that fun stuff. Translate it again. It is now in Hindi and it has the timestamps. So now we're going to take all of that, enable, copy all of that. Let's open up Notepad. Now, this is what, honestly, you could script this out in AI to do. And this is me manually doing it. We'll paste this, and we need to save this as an SRT file. So this would be Hindi SRT. Dagnabbit. Hold on. Let's do that again. I need to change this to that. And that works. So now that we've done this, let's go in here. We're going to add a new language. Add Hindi. And we are going to upload the file that has timings. That's the reason why we did this. And where is that file? There it is. We got it there. Now we publish it. And now we have that extra language. So if we go here back to this video, let's close all of this. Let's refresh it.
Like that, how I have everything set up like it's a miniature.
So now if I come here to my language and I go to the gear, there's Hindi. And you can do that for any of your stuff, your sermons, anything like that. Sorry for dragging that out, but that is how I do this. Now with Maker, you can do all of this stuff and script this whole thing that it does it automatically to where you put this videos in a spreadsheet. It will go through each one, download the transcriptions, put it in a certain file format. Everything you just saw me manually do, you can use Maker to do and script that whole thing. I've been meaning to do a video on that so that I don't have to keep manually doing this, but that's how I add different languages. So I go through every video that has multiple languages and I put that stuff there so that anybody else is watching this in another language, they can actually see that. And I've asked people to verify that and they said it works fine, reads well. And I got this fan on me. This, you hear that? Sorry. That's what I've been fighting. Where's my, hold on a second. Get my last hauls here to hopefully help me with all of this stuff here. All right. So you're saying you have the ATEM Mini Pro. The moment we started recording on the ATEM, we can get video feed. Before that, we will use the ATEM as a capture device and stream via EV. Okay, I don't know what that is, but let's see what we can get you. You want to know how you can get the feed and all this other stuff. So let me give you some options. Again, I don't know what other equipment that you got. I'm assuming that you may have a computer. If you do, then that may work. Come on, now. Excuse me for the sniffling, folks. All right. So over here, you got yourself an ATEM Mini Pro. So if this is streaming over Ethernet, you still have the USB available. So you could, if you have a computer, because this is connected to a network, and we need a switch or a router, whatever, is connected some way. So what would happen here, this is connected here, this is connected here, and this is what's going to the interwebs. So this is how it's streaming over the network, right? So because this is over the network, the computer, because this is on the network, it can still control everything. So you don't need it for that. So if you have an SSD hard drive connected to that, you can use the USB to record. That's one way that you could do it. You can still control the ATEM over that, and that still frees up the HDMI out. So if you have an HDMI out that's not being used, that can connect to whatever monitor or whatever like that. But no, because you have the ATEM Mini Pro, you're not going to have the multi-view and the program out. You only have the program out. That can go to your projector or whatever. That's one way you could do it. Or if you had to, you could have OBS on this computer. And that's just meant, and then instead of going to a SSD, that USB can be coming over here to the Computron, the computer here, and then OBS is just recording that. And then if it's fast enough, the computer will be streaming, and that still frees up the HDMI out. But let me know, what else do you got? Because I can make assumptions all day long. We got your ATEM Mini Pro. So those are two options just based off of that. That if you have a SSD or a hard drive, you can plug that into your ATEM Mini Pro USB, and that will record. And the HDMI out can go to your TVs or whatever for you to see. And you can still control the ATEM by another computer over your network. So that will work. But let me know if I'm off on whatever stuff that you got. Yes, I did. I did have some etouffee. I thought I took a picture of that. I might not have. But yes, I every Louisiana dish that they, New Orleans dish I've had. So it was John. Giabra was saying, I'll be traveling to Barcelona while the conference is in session. Can we test out access before? Yeah, I mean, if you made an account, you should be able to log in and see everything, and you should be fine. Streets of Destiny, hello, hello. The camera company has to pay to license to new tech for NDI, so I get it. Why the cost may be less without NDI. Yeah. Yeah, celebrating my wife's birthday with our daughter. Well, happy birthday to your wife. They having a crawfish festival this weekend in Norfolk. Man, let me see, what is on my calendar for tomorrow? I ain't got nothing going on. Man, I should come down there. But awesome. Again, tell your wife happy birthday and all that fun stuff. Kevin Dixon, hello, good afternoon from Cape Town. We got a couple of folks from Cape Town, South Africa. Tangela, hello, hello. Creative for Fun, that is Maker. That's actually a website. Or actually, not Maker. I think it's make.com. Yeah, it's make.com. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I can log back in to what I had. Come on now. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so yeah, it's make.com. And this is the dashboard. And I had some scenarios that I was working through where I was integrating that spreadsheet and stuff. So that spreadsheet had my listing of stuff, then it sent it over to the AI, and I was building out the stuff and then just got busy doing installs. But that same process is what I was going through, that you can use this to integrate with different things. So like you can make different modules and all this other stuff to add new components. So like in here, how often do you want it to run? So if I come in here to the spreadsheet, I connect to that spreadsheet, it'll pull a new line, then it'll send it over to Perplexity, and then you can start adding other different components to it. So say I want to add something, and then, you know, they have all the other things that you can integrate with your WordPress website. Like I wanted to do it since I'm on Squarespace. They didn't have a Squarespace component. So it would email me the blog that I would need to post there. Now they've added a whole bunch of new stuff on here that you can integrate, and you download an API key and it can link to and make all this other stuff. So so they got Microsoft SQL Server, so all this other stuff that you can integrate with. And they got a bunch of stuff here. So let me see. Did they add? They have Oh, they do have Squarespace. Yay! So I could get back on here, and yeah, I need to get back and make this. So that's make.com. So sweet. Critique Studios. When do you choose CAT cabling over SDI and why? I do not send any video over Cat 6 cable at all anymore. Mainly because fiber optic HDMI cable would give me the same thing. But in those choices, SDI cable, if it's in a hazardous location, like if I have to go into a crawl space where there's some critters down there, I would get coax cable, because sometimes the lining inside of the coax is kind of poisonous. So if any animal bites on it, it kills them before they can get all the way through it. Fiber optic cable is a little bit too delicate for stuff like that. So it all depends. It mainly depends on the environment. I honestly lean more towards fiber optic HDMI cable than anything. I do not use HDMI to Ethernet extenders anymore, just because the price of the extenders with the Ethernet cable costs more than if you got fiber optic HDMI cables to go there. Again, SDI, if I have to run cables on the outside of a building, I would go with SDI. If they're in hazardous positions and locations, I would go with SDI. And it all depends on what equipment that I'm using. If I'm using a switcher that has BNC connectors, yes, I go with SDI. If I have anything else and whoever is limited on the price, and it's in, like if I'm doing cables in the wall, I would go with fiber optic HDMI. I don't need to do SDI for that. So that's personally how I do that. I'm probably gonna have to step away here for half a second. And actually, hold on one second. I will be right back. I need to blow my nose. Hold on a second, folks. And of course, my be right back is not working. Hold on, let me try it on. All right, we're back. My apologies. I ain't want y'all to be like, ugh. What's that? Hey AJ, still waiting for you to bless us with our church in Detroit with your presence. Somebody's calling me. What's a good app/way to have a church directory, and will I be able to use QR codes to access it? A church directory. Well, there's a couple of ways you could do that. You could use the free community app from Worship Tools to do that. But when you're talking about a church directory, is it to like the old school directory for emails and telephone numbers? Give me an idea on, because church directory could be multiple things. Let me know. And again, I was supposed to be back in Chicago in that, well, I know you're in Detroit, so that's in Michigan, but I mean, I'll be in that area. So when I'm in Chicago, I'm supposed to be there for 2 weeks. I was supposed to be there, but I think we haven't been able to get everything straight. So I might not be there the last week of this month now, but let me know and I can steer that in the direction. Yeah, Dean, that's normally where I export my SRT originally. That's what I normally do. But since it was after the fact, because I actually opened up DaVinci Resolve, and I'm like, I'll just do it since I could download it from there. Back to Philip Paul. Is there any way that I can connect my phone hotspot to the PC? Yes. With longer range. Is there any way I can connect my phone hotspot to a PC? Currently, due to limitations on our Wi-Fi speed, so I use my phone hotspot at times. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your phone. Like either one of my phones, I just connected over USB to my computer, and then it will show up as an Ethernet connection, so it's not a Wi-Fi one. But are you saying that when you have your phone that's next to you, it needs to be farther away? Let me know when it comes to that. Dean, I ain't messing with you. You messing with me from there. And then it says, my phone camera to OBS uses a ruined camera app. It's yeah, if you're trying to connect your phone, I would just connect it over USB to that and do it that way. I have a house tour right after this. And after that, Otis, I really have nothing else going on for today. So I got a tour at 1:30, and then after that, just sitting here at the house chilling. So yeah, if you you got my number, just give me a call. We can catch up. Just let me know, or I can come down there. It doesn't really matter. Okay, Exalted Church said EV Mux is like StreamYard. Okay, and yes, we have a digital mixer to PC over USB. Currently, it's not streaming via Ethernet. Okay. So if it's going to the PC, that would be the suggestion to you in that kind of layout that I said there. Either just have OBS in place just to record. If you don't have an SSD to do that, the SSD will probably be the easiest way. Let the ATEM stream. Because if you're using that software, then that means the USB out is being sent to the computer so that it can do that. Now, what you could do, it depends on how powerful your computer is. You could run OBS on top of that, and let the virtual camera from OBS be sent to that program, so that OBS is just recording, and then it sends the video and audio through OBS to the EV Mux, so that you can still stream the same way. But again, that's dependent on if your computer is fast enough to process both of those. Jeff, could he use a NAS for recording plugged into the router and switch? Possible, but you would need something that's going to actually record that, or some type of interface that would manipulate the stream from your ATEM to trick it into thinking it's something that a NAS security camera NVR could actually capture. So I don't know if VLC could do that, stream to VLC so it's picking that up, and then VLC is recording. That may be possible for that. Hey Patrick, hello. Love to Dims, hello. How do I do an overlay on projector/LED wall while running a church service on live stream? Well, what type of overlay are you talking about? You're talking about lower third, scripture, and I also need to know what your setup is, and we can answer that. Nick, have you ever used BitFocus Companion? Yes, we have, and we got an expert in the room. Mike has done a video on that as well. If so, is it possible to control the PTZs and the ATEM Mini Pro? Yes, to both. And I believe Mike has a video on my channel who has done that in one of our conferences as well. And that's what I forgot to bring up. I was supposed to bring up my better graphic for the conference. Hold on, I'm gonna do this, because we gotta keep promoting the conference. Because I'll be honest, I have a lot of people say, Hey, AJ, can you set up some training to train our media ministry? Yeah, I could, but we already have one with not just me, a whole bunch of great folks. So that's why I'm not beating a dead horse, but a lot of people who have been a part of this conference for years can agree to the awesomeness of the conference. And is this the right one? No, that's not it. Hold on. Which one is it? Media player. Hold on. My downstream keys are looking at the wrong thing. That's the right monitor. I don't want that. I want media player 1. Ugh, and it's not taking the color out of my image. See, I told y'all I was trying to do something and then it was acting up and now it's not carrying anything over. Oh well, anyway, but he has a video on my channel that goes over that. And yes, all those things, yes, you can do with BitFocus. Back to Lamar. It's going to be mainly for sending out mass text messages. I would go to community at Worship Tools. They actually added that feature. I think it's free. Let me log into it and let's see. Give me a half a second so y'all don't see all my passwords and stuff. Apps, community. All right, so from here, this is it, and I believe it does emails. I think it must be the paid one. They were just talking about they have an option to send out text and other options. It must be the paid version. Hold on. Let me log out and let me log into my paid version of this. And let me see. Log in. I love the autocorrect in the auto login and it where it saves your passwords and stuff, but then it keeps putting in the wrong thing. And it won't let me log in the way I want to. All right, let me see. Alrighty, so who added people? Oh, that was when I was testing. Duh. I was like, who are they? So in here you have testing. I thought they had a communication where you can do another one. I could be wrong. I thought they had an option where you could do the text one. I mean, they made an announcement about it. Let's see. I really thought that they said they were doing an option where it can send text. I'm gonna have to circle back on here. I thought maybe it was a email of new features that they were coming out with. So sorry about that. We'll see. All right, Philip Paul is saying the phone is going to be from there. I mean, if you set up your phone as a hotspot, it's going to be like a router. So your computer would connect to it. If it has Wi-Fi to it, then, I mean, I really don't understand what you're saying, because if you can't connect it over physical connection, the most you're going to get is the Wi-Fi connection, just like anything else. And you can't boost that. You can't add a boost to your phone to make the Wi-Fi stronger. But let me know if I'm off in what you're trying to ask. I just got a message saying OBS disconnected. We just got a new computer and we're using the 4 HDMI ports on our graphics card, but we need to send an external output to another 2 rooms. We're using vMix. Any recommendations? Get yourself a Decklink mini monitor. That's what I used on mine, and that's how I use it in this computer right now. Well, actually, can we put the camera back on so y'all can see? Is my stuff gonna pick up? All right, there it goes. So, like for example, with my setup here, so what I have is I have another Decklink in my computer down there. I don't know if you can see it right there on the bottom, right there. No, that's my 10 gigabit. It's right under the graphics card, and that's what the white cables are going into my converter. One of them gives me this output. So inside of vMix, see, that's what I have the external for. Excuse me. That's outputting to that converter, which is, and why did my signal go out? Hold on. Hold on. My computer NDI feed froze for a second. Hold on. Let's try this again. Monitor. Okay. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, I have that going out, and that loops out into my ATEM down here, the web presenter, which is what you're seeing right there. And then the other white cable comes all the way around, and that plugs into another capture card in here, and that's how my OBS here to stream into Twitch, and the other one goes there. So that is the same thing. So right here, this is the Decklink mini monitor HD. This is going, it used to go for $129, but thank you tariffs, now it's going for $150. So you can get that, and that would show up in vMix. You pick an output, and that's kind of like how I got this screen showing this. So that's how that would work. So hopefully that helps you. So yes, that would work, because that's the exact same setup that I have here. And I'm tripping myself up on these cables here. Exalted Christ Church. All right, glad that works for you. Darius, I may be able to help with the EV-Mux. That is my go-to streaming software. You're able to record within the program as you stream. Cool. Creative for fun? Yes, thank you. That is the video on the channel. BitFocus Companion, More Than a Friend, a Powerful Ally. That is the content in the session that Mike taught at last year's eMissionary Conference, and that answers all your questions. Jeff has a suggestion here. Our church uses Church Track for our directory, calendar, kids check-in, budget, etc. It also allows mass text to groups. Thank you for that, because I was actually trying to write my own type of check-in program that was for actually, no, I did have an account to this. I think I was using it as an example to test out for the conference. I was going to write my own, but thank you for that. Love to Dims. I'm using vMix and FreeShow. We have a projector for the audience. So how do I do an overlay of the topic of the service after the pastor has read the scripture? Not show that what the live stream is showing. Well, it's a couple of things you could do with that. Kind of like, so we have a projector. All right, so what you would need to do is inside of vMix, kind of the same way I have mine. So let's go back to the camera here. So the same way I have mine, I have this output in vMix to show me exactly what's going to the live stream. You can change your output on vMix to be, oh, I only want a specific output. So I'm assuming that that's something similar to how you have that set up if you're doing that. If you don't, you would need to do that. You would set up in vMix saying, hey, I want to show this one source going to this output that is going to your projectors or something like that. And then you need to turn on an overlay, kind of like what you see right here. And that overlay will only be displayed by one device or whatever. So that's the way it can be shown on the live stream. So for right now, if I change this and say, I only want to see this camera, this is all I would see. I would just see the SDI output. That's all I would see. That is what would be routed to, and y'all are not, I don't even have the camera on. This output right here is the one that would have routed here instead. I would say vMix route the deck link to this monitor. So no matter what shows, all I would ever see is just the camera. And just like what y'all are seeing right now, that's what the live stream would see. So when you bring up graphics like this, it would only be shown for people on the live stream, but it would not show inside the house. I would need a little bit more time to do that because if I shut this down, it shuts down my live stream. But I'll go over that because I've been meaning to do a video. I'm trying to push Antioch to go to vMix so they can do some more stuff. So that might be one of the sessions. But when I do that, I actually did a video where I said we're upgrading OBS to vMix like 3 years ago, 4 years ago or something. And they never were interested in that. So I might do a refresher of that. Mike, my session this year is going to build on last year's session to create a multicam PTZ with OBS and Bitcamp Companion, but you can also put an ATEM. Awesome. Thank you for that, Mike. Creative for fun. AJ, I have a Facility camera Ethernet controller for a church I'm helping. Question, could you assign the cameras to the keys, buttons, and can it turn off besides unplugging the Ethernet? Could you assign the cameras to the keys, numbers, and turn it off? You should be able to, but it depends on which joystick that you got. You should be able to. Yeah, exactly. It is. So like, for example, and this is the thing that's why I don't always recommend this. So I'm gonna show you a little behind the scenes here. So on this system right here, let's go to the task manager. That's why, I went to the wrong one. Task manager. And in here, if I go to the specs, like I'm running a Ryzen 9 5900X, and you can see it ain't touching nothing. So I don't know why in the world this thing is choking, but that second that it did, because I mean, I'm live streaming and doing this, and it's not touching anything. I got a RTX 3060. I just upgraded that in here for there. So I have no idea why that's choking. And then this is an 8600G over here. No, it isn't. What did I put in this one? This is the one that my computer had died and I had to rebuild the whole thing a couple of months ago. Yeah, this is a Ryzen 5 7600, but then it has a RTX 2070 in here that's handling everything. And my main system is a Ryzen 9, a Ryzen 9 5900X. So it's the exact same processor that's in this one. And I have another Ryzen 9 that's upstairs. That's my own cast one. But yeah, so it's intensive, and that's kind of the reason why I personally don't do NDI for like full scale stuff, because just imagine where my stuff froze. Just imagine that's happening at church, and you have somebody that's non-technical and they got to troubleshoot that. That's why I'm old school. We'll plug up some cameras with some wires and stuff like that to get that working. Any solution? I was thinking if they could have a router where we can connect the phone and the PC at the same time. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that, that's the same router that I've used before. Hold on a second. that is, if you get one of those, hold on. I might as well use the camera. Here, we've been using it the entire time. Hold on. Come on. Turn that camera around. Come on. There we go. So what you could do is, and hopefully, and my video is stuttering. I think that's more of an issue of my phone than anything. Hopefully this will last. So what you could do is you can get this. So this is my travel router. And with this, I'll switch this back over here. With this, you got a USB, and you could plug your phone into this and make this the internet source for this, and then you can plug your computer into that. So I have this one. This is the one that I normally use now. And I don't know what my smaller one is. But I mean, I got this for like $30. And that would be able to allow you to do that. You plug the phone into this over USB tethering. That would give this internet Wi-Fi off of this. And this is a Wi-Fi 6 Wi-Fi, so way stronger. But then you could connect your stuff. You have 2 Ethernet ports here, or you can hook a switch up to it and connect everything over Ethernet cable. You could do that. That would be an option. MA16, NDI can choke a NIC, or if it is an incoming NDI feed, your networking might be dropping data, which is crazy though, because this computer right now, I have my 10 gigabit connection on here right now. That's what all of these are running on. So the fact that it's choking, it makes no sense from here unless it's on the Wi-Fi side. But the Wi-Fi, there's nothing on the Wi-Fi right now except for this phone. So I have no idea what is going on. Awesome. Thank you again for joining. And I can't hear because I didn't plug my headphones back up. But yeah, so that just kind of catches me off guard. I don't know why in the world I would be doing that. But let's see. Do we got any more new questions here? But that's what we got. Now, the other thing talking about doing, I was talking to Rakira. She's the person that I left in charge over top of Antioch's media ministry. Been helping her with understanding DaVinci Resolve. So this is her second Sunday of making the video announcements and all this other stuff like that. So very proud of the stuff she's doing. She had to teach her about normalizing your audio, because her audio on the live stream for the announcements was super, super low, and we turned the volume up so you can hear it. But then she did a voiceover at the end and it boomed out to everybody. And she was like so embarrassed. I was like, man, forget it. Don't worry about being embarrassed. It's like nobody else has tried to make announcement videos. So like you live and learn and you improve from. So I was helping her with that stuff the other day. But I was telling her, and just like I was saying earlier, we need to try and do an upgrade on our countdown timers. And this is a part of the session that I taught last year and I'm going to be teaching again this year, is the anatomy of a church live stream. If you're doing a 15-minute countdown at the beginning, which I still recommend you do, because that's time that you can figure out, like, why do I have the 15 minutes at the beginning of this Q&A? Because I'm trying to troubleshoot. It gives me time to see if there's an issue with anything. And I still do that, but there's other ways you can use that. So the idea is, instead of just having a countdown, why not take that timer, move it over to a different, and do it just like intros or pre-reels when you go to a movie, where they're doing ads for the next thing. So just imagine you have your countdown, you have your, hey, good morning, welcome, thanks for joining us. Our live stream will start at this time. You move the clock down, and then you have a pre-recorded or a live feed of somebody talking to the congregation. You play through the announcements. You do highlights. You do highlights from the last sermon. You do events. You got anything going on. Use that time, and there's more things you can do. So we're going to be talking about making something like that here pretty soon. Let's see what else we got. Can the X32 be put on a static IP address? Yes, it can. So like, for example, I have my X Air that's on right here beside me. And there's a couple of things you could do. You could do it through the router or you could do it through the software, whichever way. So in here, if I go to the settings, you know, you could set up the network IP address here. So you could set a static here. You know, I have mine on DHCP, but it's really static because I set it as a static IP in my router. But you could come in here and physically set it. And it's the exact same thing with the X32. You could do it the same way as well too. So yes, you can. So personally, I always set the X32s when I set it to a static one as well too, so that I know it's always going to be the same. I hate for it to be floating around because if somebody's using an iPad or a tablet or something to remotely connect to it, that's kind of a pain. Jeff, what do you suggest for royalty-free music for churches? I use Envato Elements. You could set up a free account with Suno or Udio and make your own. And then most of the time, see, that's the thing. We've talked about this before. You can get whatever royalty-free music that you want, but there are bad actors out there. Because I saw somebody, like the music that I sell for my OBS bundle, I have the license for that. No one owns that. I bought the license for that. And I am able to send that to other people. Some music I made myself, so I own that because I made it. But some people have told me that they use my bundle and they keep getting hit every Sunday because they're using that music and somebody else is claiming ownership of it. That being said, there are always going to be bad actors that are lying. Like I use Epidemic Sound for my background music, and I get hit with that. And that's a company. The only reason why I don't get hit with that because they're a company that have lawyers that kill that stuff. And unfortunately, you know, little folks like us that we don't have our own production studio and stuff, they just exploit the stuff. So you can get all the licensed royalty-free music in any of these places, like Envato, all these other things, but bad actors are still gonna lay claim because there's so many people out here doing fraud that the systems aren't fast enough to catch them. So, but anyway, personally, I would use Scott Holmes Music. That's who I've used a long time ago. He gives licenses for his stuff. But again, people have stolen his stuff, claiming that he owns it, that they own it when he's the one who offers it. Envato, you can buy your own track from that and you have a license for that. At least those are the ones, or you subscribe to a service like Envato Elements, and then also Epidemic Sound. I have a link down below if you want to use that. I've been using them for 4 years, all the music, and it's a wide array of music that you can use, and all of that stuff is covered because you put your put your channel under your account. In any music that's used, you're covered. So this is Epidemic Sound, and I mean they're constantly always adding music. They have voiceovers. Wow, I didn't know that. And then Envato Elements just started doing AI generated video, so we've been playing around with that. But I mean, you have a wide assortment of music that could be used. Personally, I always do stuff that has instrumental, so it doesn't have words. So and they have I really need to get back into writing music again, because some of the gospel that they have on here or Christian music is corny. I'm just being honest. No, that's some old school country. Like that's, to me, that's corny. What that be? I feel like praising him, but I feel like praising him. That's what that sounds like. Praise him in the morning, praise him all day long. I feel like praising him. I'm surprised some phlegm and all this stuff didn't start shooting all over the camera. But anyway, some of the gospel stuff that they have in there sounds corny to me. But if you're looking for it, you would put your account in here. I have like Facebook, Instagram, when I was on Twitter, X, YouTube, all that stuff, my podcast, and I can use that on any of that stuff. So that would be my suggestion. Shane and Hannah, hello, hello, hello. I need to get back. I want to get back out to London for my birthday in that area. Maybe coming around your neck of the woods, but we'll see. Can we create 2 virtual views from a single camera using the ATEM? One view should be a close-up and the other a distance. No. Well, no, you can't do zooming like that inside with the ATEM. Unfortunately, no, you can't do that. Heal. What are the OBS plugins you use for better stream quality? I don't use any plugins for stream quality. Stream quality is normally driven by your bit rate how much data is being captured and sent to your stream. So like right now, can I bring this stream over? All right, I'm gonna duplicate this monitor here and let's minimize. Close this so y'all can see my other system here. So it's gonna loop here for a second. So when I go to the stream quality in here, that is mainly determined by your bit rate right here. So right now, technically I could go to 10,000 because the system can handle that. But this is what really affects your quality. How much data is actually put into every frame that your video is sent. And then also the quality is also going to be, can the system, how is it processed? Like this is, the GPU is handling the encoding. It's taking 10,000 kilobits per second. It's being put into every frame that's being sent. And then I'm also streaming at 1080p and at 60 frames a second, the max. That's really what affects your quality. No, to my knowledge, unless something is new, I've never seen a plugin that would change the quality of that, because whatever OBS is taking in and sending out, that's what it's going to do. And there's really no plugin in my mind. I'm just thinking, how would a plugin improve that? Because if the plugin is adding more, all that would be is the equivalent of you maybe adding more data or whatever in the kilobits in your video quality. So I'm not aware of anything that does something like that. Philip Paul was saying, asking for a link to that travel router. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, I actually got this last year, so I will put a link to that here at the bottom. Travel router. All right, so I just put the link there for you. Let's see. Do you have a checklist or standard routine you follow before going live to make sure things like audio recordings and streaming itself work properly? Yes, I actually did a video a while ago about, and I did it for Antioch right when I was leaving, on how to start up and do a testing of how I do everything. Let me see what that video is. So I did. Hello. I did this one. This is the video that I did where I walked through turning everything on and testing everything. That was the video that I did, and that was with the old board, the old rolling board that has since been replaced. But this goes through everything that I normally do. I need to make a newer one, but again, I'm not there. So I kind of task Rakira with doing that, but she's the head of the media ministry, so it's her decision what she wants to do. So I'm really kind of a floater right now. So I just bounce around to different places. But that would be my suggestion with that. Well, not old. I mean, some of the music just sounds like it's was somebody's interpretation of what gospel music would sound like, and they haven't been in church. That's what it sounds. That's what I mean when it was corny. Some of that stuff is like, I don't know no church that plays some of this stuff. It sounds like gospel music on a very bad rerun TV series or something like that. JBF Media, can I connect my Teveo PTZ controller to my PTZ camera? Somehow I cannot connect it to. Yeah, that's the issue that I have with the Tenveo ones. They only have a RS232 in. They don't have a loop out, so you can't connect multiple ones. So in a church that did have multiple cameras that have an in RS232 in and out, I made the Tenveo the last one on the link so it doesn't have to go anywhere. It can work that way. But I need to know what's the model that you have, and we can see from there. Let's see. What else we got today, folks? Let me actually take a little pause right here. I normally do this at the end, but let me go ahead and give a shout out to all my Patreon and YouTube members. I just want to give a big shout out to them because, like I said, folks, I don't have any corporate sponsors or anything on this channel. I just have great people like this who help me monthly by doing contributions as low as $1.50 a month, all the way up to $30 a month. I haven't gone any higher than that. Don't really feel like doing that. And again, thank you for those Patreon supporters or YouTube. I think YouTube starts at like $3 or something like that. But no matter which way you pick, folks, you're helping us train media ministry all over the world. So to get started with Patreon, go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO, or to become a YouTube member, just click the join button down below. And like I said, you're helping us train media ministries all over the world. I want to give a big shout out to all of y'all because we are a hop, skip, and a jump away. And why do they keep moving this stuff? They normally used to have a countdown that shows what your channel numbers are right now. Let me see if I can find one here and go to Social Blade, even though that's not the most reliable site, but I will use them for right now. So live counter. So this number is not completely accurate, but it's close enough. We are less than 900 away from 70,000 subscribers. Like I said, we're doing a giveaway once we hit the 70,000. So excited about that. And we are, hasn't happened as fast as I wanted it to, but we are 30,000 away from 100,000 subscribers. So really excited about that. So I can be like all the other YouTubers and have the plaque sitting behind me and stuff like that. And then we start working towards the next goal. Wait a minute, you see that? We have 1,732 videos on the channel. Wow, that's a lot. And we've shown our videos to 8.9 million people. So really excited about that. Hey, we try and do it a little bit. I got drafted. I actually got to play next week as well too. So we got to pick some music for the fourth Sunday. And then I got to play for fifth Sunday next month, right when we're coming back from me and my daughter's cruise vacation. I really hope she likes cruises, because if she don't, she's going to be horrible. She's going to be miserable because daddy loves cruises, because I can pay for everything up front and I ain't got to spend a dime. The only thing I got to pay for on our cruise that hasn't been paid for is the Uber from the hotel to the pier. So I'm excited about that. All right, JBF, but what's the model? because they have a bunch of them. If you got the model, I can look up exactly. And hey, AJ, for the Synology NAS, what is the best and cost-efficient discs to buy? Personally, I like the Seagate Skyhawks. Those have been the most cost-effective and best performance ones for me. And can I add disk if different sizes and vendors? It all depends on the type of RAID that you're using. So some RAIDs will allow you to have different sizes and it doesn't care. I do the ones where I do kind of mirroring, and I have kind of like a redundancy on mine. So I have certain ones that I use the same size, so it does do that. So just cutting over here. Like me personally, I mean, I'm saying Skyhawk. Skyhawk is for the NVR, excuse me. The Iron Wolf ones are the ones that I use, and I've used the 8 terabyte, and I have up to, I think, a 12 terabyte in a couple of ones that I have. And like we're here, like this is we're here, like right here, the Western Digital, I mean, I think they're overpriced in comparison. So like if I come here and look for a 8 terabyte ones, so that's going for $179. Now it's the same price, but originally it was more expensive here. And unless they've changed it with the changes that Synology did, they also have a kind of like a partnership with Seagate that it gives an extra warranty when you're repairing them when it goes into there. So that's the other reason why I've used those. But just in comparison, those are the ones that I've used here. And I don't mess with these renewed drives. I don't do that. I get all my stuff new. I don't mess with any else. So it looks like they're, for the most part, they're around the same price now that they've marked them down. But the Seagate's ones have actually are cheaper than the other ones. And that's what I use on all of mine. The U-Greens are the only ones I did Western Digital ones on. Haven't really had an issue with them, but I don't use that NAS that much. I just use it to back my phone up. Back to Exalted Christ Church. Hey, Jay, I've just thought about your suggestion about using the HDMI output to projector. The challenge that we have is that the desktop PC only has one video card, which is connected. You can get yourself a USB to HDMI adapter, and that would give you an extra out that you could use for that. Did that at a couple of places, but that will work well for you if you did that. Hollis, thank you for that. Hold on, you're saying also the problem is that I cannot get the presentation on the computer as an input to the ATEM. Well, no, like I said, if you get one of these USB to HDMI adapters, come on, USB to HDMI adapter. So I've used these quite a bit. So if you have USB-C, that will work. I actually got one of those around here somewhere on my desk. That was for my phone. Or I've used these. This would give you another output, and I've used it in multiple places to give yourself another output. So for like your presentation, you can hook this up. That would give you the output that will output to that. And I'll put a link down below for that. And I mean, you can get that thing for as low as like $7. Very simple for that. Let me add this real quick. USB to HDMI adapter. And I just wonder, do y'all ever wonder where I get that extra door at? It's like, I'll give you a hint. Perry the platypus. I have my my disintegrator, my refrigerator incinerator. That's where that's from, if y'all know what that is. Let's see. MA16v3. Near as I can tell, there isn't any way to connect Vimeo to YouTube to migrate to YouTube. There isn't any way to connect Vimeo to YouTube to migrate to YouTube. So now, no, actually you can. There is a way that you can do that because I used to do that. Is there a way to automate YouTube uploads so the videos upload in sequence? Yes, you can. I used to do that a while. I haven't done it in a minute. When I used to have Signs and Wonders and Antioch use my Vimeo account to do simulcasting, they still kind of use that until Facebook broke some stuff. I stopped the upload for, no, it actually, no, I thought there was a way. There was a tool that they used to have. I need to go back and look at that. Yeah, MA16v3, other than scripting it out, if that tool is not there, that's what I'm thinking. All right, JBF is saying the model. Let me look this one up here. I don't know why that song came in my head. I dare you, come against me. I dare you to defeat me. All right, let's look at this model here. And I hate when, if you're gonna do pictures of your stuff, show the back so we can see what connections you got. Because this is why a bunch of people get got. See, that's an RJ45. Like, this is the picture I need you to show. Oh, my bad, I missed it. So wait a minute, this has an RS-232 in and out. You should be able to do that. Yeah, the other ones only have a RS-232 in. If you have it in and out, that shouldn't be a problem. So unless I'm missing something. I was trying to use my Ethernet cord to connect to my PoE switch so I can control it. Well, that is going to be as long as it supports the protocol. And the protocol under here, that's going to be Visca over IP, or it's going to be on VIF. So it looks like this does not support that. Yes, it does. There's on VIF right there. So you use that protocol and then the joystick will be able to do it. So you should be able to do that with that. That would be the protocol you need to use because I don't see Visca over IP as a protocol to that. I just noticed your in-ears is comfy. On occasion, this is the same one that I recommend that I gave to other churches when they're doing in-ears for like their in-ear monitors and stuff. I got this because it's $19. And yes, you get the right size earpiece that fits in there. And yes, it is comfortable. Phineas and Ferb, yes. Evil Doofenshmirtz Incorporated. Yes. See, I would watch that stuff with my daughter. And like cartoons now, they suck, to be quite honest. Like I have my daughter and I got her on Tailspin, DuckTales, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, Gummy Bears. Those are classics. Like what cartoon outside of Phineas and Ferb, Kim Possible, any cartoon that you have a noticeable, repeatable, singable intro that you still remember. Like I still remember like the classic that didn't have any words to it. He-Man, that's the only word you had. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba, He-Man, ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Now let's see if I get hit for humming that song. Ooh, excuse me. My halls wore out, so my talking is about ready to be limited here in a second. Back to Philip Paul. How can I set my Restream settings to set the Facebook Live as public? That's going to be done inside of Facebook, not inside of Restream. It's currently set to private. When I start it, you have to go and set it public in Facebook so that it will take over and do that. So that's not done in Restream. I think that's about it. And my camera is dying here. I had my Osmo here just in case. Oh, that's why that was showing up. I thought this was a cable going to that computer. I thought it was going to this computer locally. That's an actual HDMI cable that I replaced that was going out to my streaming system. But I think that's about it, folks. I got to get cleaned up and all gussied up for this tour I got to go on. And Otis, if you're still there, yeah, hit me up, and maybe we can catch up. Either if you're coming up here, I can drive down there. Either one. I know I just got to be back here by tomorrow, by 5 tomorrow. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for stopping by. Folks, keep up the hard work. There's a lot of videos that I want to do, and I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I like to, y'all know me. I like to be realistic and just tell you that this journey is hard. It's not, at no point do I want to try and tell you that the technology is easy. Dealing with this, the right side of it gets difficult. And that's why this community is here, to lean on each other and to encourage each other, not just from a technical standpoint, from an encouragement standpoint. Because I know that my story is just like a bunch of everybody else's stories. Sometimes this can be lonely. Sometimes this thing can be frustrating, that you're trying to forge forward into something where everybody wants to do the status quo. They want to be just like they've always been. They don't want to try anything new. When it comes to media, things are changing every hour. So sometimes it gets hard when you're getting frustrated, where you're fighting the battle by yourself. That's why I really recommend that you join the Facebook group. And it's not just about sharing questions like this. It's to know that you have some camaraderie with other people who are doing what you're doing, to get some encouragement, to be uplifted, because this thing is hard. You got to think, the enemy that we're fighting is not excited about us being able to share the good news throughout the entire world. I'm saying that to me as well too. You think you have all these issues going on just because we're going to start sharing the message and reaching people who've never heard it before, and think that the enemy's just going to sit back and just let it happen? That's why we need to band together and work together with the stuff. So again, just know that you're appreciated. What you're doing is helping the community at large, the actual church, not your building, the church, all of us together. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without you. We will do it if you choose not to, but we'd rather do it with you. So I know all of us are not in the same church, not the same city, state, country. But know that all the things that you're doing in South Africa and London and the Philippines, Malaysia, Japan, China, wherever else, it's helping us all. If you're able to share that message with more people, guess what? We all win. So y'all stay encouraged. Thank you for everything that you're doing. You're appreciated more than you realize. There's somebody who's thankful for what you're doing that you're never going to meet. But they'll never know about the message if it wasn't for the stuff that you're doing in Canva with your streaming and all this other stuff. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great day, even afternoon, wherever y'all are, folks. And we'll be seeing y'all in the next video. Later, folks.